Hey everyone, it's JC. I'm back, and I was going to start out with an apology because I haven't been able to record a video for like a month. But then I decided, and here's our deal. I decided I'm going to stop doing that because life is a roller coaster. It's obviously seeming like it's going to stay a roller coaster. So I will just try to post what I can. I'm not going to apologize anymore. It is what it is. But I will try to post as much as I can. And I'm probably not gonna be able to stick to a schedule, but here we are, and I have something to share. Yay! So today, did you like the title of this video? I want you to do an experiment with me on food attachment. Now, I'm using the word attachment on purpose because I would really love to know what you think about this in the comments. But I think the word addiction can sometimes scare people off or make people uncomfortable because it's like, it has this image of like an addict, and I don't think we always like that word, even if we do manifest the like all the characteristics of an addict with food. So I like the word attachment better. But to me, they kind of have a different idea behind them. An addict or an addiction seems like I just keep going back and keep going back. I can't stop going back for more. But an attachment almost feels like I'm stuck. Like I can't detach from that thing. Not just that I keep going back to it, but that I'm firmly attached to it. And that to me is the hidden foundation that drives a lot of us. We want to call it a lack of willpower, or I just like the taste of the food, or we have all these other reasons why we can't stop binging or we can't stop turning to our favorite treats. But I truly believe, and if you've taken any of my courses, you'll see me talk about this, that the underlying cause for so many of us, I would say most of us, is attachment, spiritual attachment, not just physical attachment. Yes, physical attachment, but spiritual, emotional, mental. So we're going to do our experiment today on attachment. And my goal is, you may think it's dumb, but I can think of another way. If you can think of another way, tell me and I'll share it. We've got to have a way, because our tendency with food is to downplay how bad it is. Like, oh, I know I can make some changes, but I don't know if I'm in this whole realm of addiction or attachment. So let's be honest with ourselves. That's the goal in today's experiment. Full honesty, willingness to look at it and look at the depth of it, and an openness to go, okay, all right, I'm going to quit living in denial. Maybe you're not, but many of us do. I coach many people that do. I want to see how deep this goes. So here's the experiment. It's very simple. We've got to assess the attachment. So I want you to take a day in your phone, to grab a notebook, have it with you, however you can do it. I want you to see if you can count how many times, not just you reach for food, count those, how many times you reach for it as a fix. Maybe we should say, I haven't thought about this part. Maybe we should say not when I'm actually hungry, but when I'm reaching for it for a fix. There's a difference. We know the difference, right? Count it, but also count how many times you think about it. The thought of what you're going to eat next, or what you're craving, or, ooh, I want to make this. I want to go bake, or, ooh, oh, that sounds so good right now. Ooh, I want that. How many times? And let's be real. Like, every time you notice a thought, and you're going to have to be very tuned in, because a lot of it is subconscious, playing around in the back of your mind. See if you can count how many times that day food pops up. Either you're thinking about it, grabbing some, going to get some, planning for it, craving it, looking forward to it. See if you can pin down how many times in the day that is a thing for you. You see how, if you could think of a better way to assess your own attachment, that's cool. But we've got to look at it and see how real this is. Because I think a lot of us would say, yeah, I know. But then when we look at it and say, okay, that was like 50 times or 100 times or whatever, sometimes a number gives you a little bit more, okay, yeah. See, and then what I would love for you to do is take the next day and assess how many times as a Christian, a believer, someone that loves Jesus Christ, how many times is he crossing your mind? How many times a day does a scripture or a song or some faith-filled thought that turns your mind to him, how often does that happen? And then make a comparison. Wouldn't you kind of like to know the comparison, as painful as it is, to see what your true deliverer is, what your true God, functioning God is in your life? Is it food? Is that the thing that's taking up the full devotion and attention of your mind? Or is it more Christ? I hope. I mean, that'd be great if you said, no, actually, my day where I assessed my connection to the Lord was more. I wouldn't have said that when I started my journey. So it's kind of an experiment. It doesn't have to be like scientific or anything, but here we're trying to dig past denial, dig past our excuses, and really look at how attached we are. Now, let me share some quotes real quick for you, with you, from a book. It's so good. It's called The Book of Waking Up by Seth Haynes. And he actually came out of alcoholism. His addiction was alcohol. But he's a Christian, and he describes the attachment and detachment process so beautifully. So beautifully. So don't let it scare you off that you're like, well, alcohol isn't my addiction. No, the way he describes what the soul is hungering for and how it detaches. Oh my gosh, I loved it so much, you guys. Okay, so he started out and he was like, listen, addiction is nothing more than attachment to the thing that can never satisfy our deepest longing. Addiction really is attachment. That's why we're going back for more and more and more. But he says, when we're reaching for a fix, and yes, we can do that with food, right? Oh, my glasses are glaring so bad. Yeah, whatever. When we're reaching for a fix, especially one of the big fixes, he says, I think we have to ask ourselves, does my attachment to this thing lead to my flourishing and the flourishing of others? Does it lead to deeper communion with God? There's got to be that question. Once you see how deeply attached you are from the experiment, maybe do it over the course of 2 or 3 days if you want. Let's really look at it. Get a good cross-section of how much you are driven by thoughts, action toward food. And then to ask yourself, is this leading to my best flourishing? Is it really, your brain is telling you, I need that fix because it will bring satisfaction, but is it really? And is it leading to deeper communion with God? Is it really opening up my soul and offering a relationship that God, well, I'm not saying that right. Is it bringing, there we go. Is it bringing me what God could bring? Is food doing it? It's just being really real. I'm not explaining that very good. But then, I'm not going to redo this because I don't have time. Oh my gosh, you guys. Then listen to this quote. He goes in, he starts talking a little bit about John 6, which I think is the quintessential chapter on attachment. I use it in my Satisfied course. I use it in Transformed. But he has a couple quotes that are so good. Okay, I'm going to lift my laptop. He says, time and time again, Jesus addressed the coping mechanisms, the disordered attachments is what he calls them. The disordered attachments of the people. The ways they were prone to adore the gifts instead of the giver. Each time he offered a similar solution, which can be summed up this way. Wake up, detach from the stuff of the earth and attach yourselves to me. And then we're going to finish with this quote because it's just so powerful, and it really parallels what I teach in my Satisfied class, which is why I loved it so much. But again, continuing with John 6, where he talks about, I'm the bread of life. You are coming to me for more loaves and fishes. And that's not going to fill the way my bread can fill. So here's the quote from Seth Haynes. Loaves and fishes satisfy for a season. We take them in, break them down, incorporate their nutrients into our bodies. Well, and I would say with some of the stuff we're binging on, there's not a lot of nutrients that are being incorporated, but that's another video for a different day. In a real sense, we attach their elements to ours. Did you hear that? In a very real sense, when we take in that food that we're so attached to, we attach their elements to ours inside of our body. But Jesus knew that bread or wine or fame or money or whatever won't satisfy our Eden-born existential angst. So he offered a different sort of food and drink. Eat my flesh, he said. Drink my blood. Take me into your lives. Incorporate all my elements, my body, my soul, my divine love, into your elements, because I'm the only thing that will satisfy your hunger. It's an audacious invitation, an invitation to the most intimate attachment. Just love that. It's it, isn't it? We've got to see how attached we are and then really tell ourselves, wait, there is a better thing to be attached to. And then he makes a couple other points I want to conclude with, because I'm really rambly today, but I just have missed you guys and now I'm all chatty. I don't know what's going on, but he talked about sobriety, because sobriety is the term alcoholics use to be clean and sober, right? We don't use that in the food world very much, do we? Like, I'm sober. I'm in a state of sobriety from the junk food but whatever we call it, maybe we could call it freedom. I'm in a place of freedom. So he said, sobriety to me now isn't about not partaking of the addiction. Now staying in this place of sobriety is more about my attachment to the Lord. I don't define it by, am I keeping the rules? Because he said, when I'm focused on being sober through keeping rules, it keeps me focused on the alcohol, he said. So I've got to shift the focus to being sober means, am I attached to Christ? Am I strengthening that attachment rather than the previous one that I had to that substance that I thought would fill it? Oh, I got to check the quote, what he said. Wait. Yeah. He said, sobriety for me now is less about avoiding addiction and more about the practice of adoration. Isn't that beautiful? Talk about a mind shift away from, oh, I have to keep this rule of no sugar, or I have to keep these rules that I've set for myself. Instead of doing that, I just attach to a new source that fills, and then that other stuff's going to fall away because my soul is filled. I really should reshoot this, but I'm not going to. So he finishes by saying, how do we make this attachment a reality? How do we detach and really make this new attachment to Christ a reality? He says, for him, I'm going to tweak this first step. He says, step 1, wake to your pain and invite God into it. Because a lot of his book was talking about using the substance to numb the pain. I believe with food, it can be a lot more things than pain. So maybe once we assess our attachment, part of the detachment is awaking to whatever it is we're numbing, whatever it is. That takes some soul searching, but waking up to it instead of just numbing it and numbing it and numbing it with more food. Waking up to it and inviting God into that. Even if it's boredom, even if it's sadness, even if it's whatever it is, waking up to it and inviting God into it. And then he said, step 2, wake to your coping mechanisms, your lesser loves, and confess them. So that's what this experiment really to me is about getting real and really looking at how much this has taken over our brains, our lives, our emotions. I am consumed with thoughts of food most of the day, more than anything else. We may get to the point where we say, I look at this, I think about this more than my family, more than God. It's my thing. I'm going to wake up to this coping mechanism, to look at it, to be honest about it. And then he said, number 3, wake up to Christ's divine love and pursue that the best you can. So I totally recommend the book. I will put it down in the description box below if you want to check it out. Just very insightful, very interesting the way he wrote it. But as one who has been in the throes of addiction and attachment, and then is now in the state of healing, he really gets it. So it's a cool read if you're trying to grapple with some of these things. If you want more, my Satisfied class and my Transformed class both tackle detaching and what it looks like. So I'll put those links below also. But I just overall mostly just hope this was helpful. I promise I will be back as soon as I can. I'm not making any promises, but I just can't. For a while I was like, maybe I need to be done, but I can't. I love this, and I love sharing and getting this message out that he is our greatest attachment and will fill us so much more than the food. Hope that helps. Have a great week.